Dragon Ball Daima has finally ended, and with the end of Daima, we are now back where we were before with the massive drought of Dragon Ball content. We got no new games, no new movies, no new anime, no new nothing. But even with Daima ending, we have a lot of people, even Syriacs, who didn't like the ending of Dragon Ball Daima. And I want to talk about the ending of Dragon Ball Daima real quick, why it's controversial, why it might not even be that big of an issue, and why, honestly, even if it was connected to Super, why it wouldn't even hurt the series that much. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doja here, back with another Dragon Ball Daima video, and I want to talk about the ending of Daima real quick, so let's just get that out of the way. Dragon Ball Daima ended with Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Goma. Now, Goku didn't even get the final hit on Goma, it was actually Majin Ku, the guy who everyone was like, oh, this guy is so unthreatening, this guy is so unserious, he could never be the next Kid Buu. Well, he ended up beating the final boss. He landed the last hit on the back of his head that knocks the evil eye out, which takes Goma's power away, meaning Goku didn't get the final blow on Goma necessarily, even though he did get the most lethal blow on Goma. But it was also by time, you know, and then Majin Ku landed the last hit. So no fusion bugs, no Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, no SSJ4 Dragon Fist, you know, etc, etc. So people really wanted to see that, and that didn't happen. Okay, whatever, that's fine. But then it seems like Daima also kind of acknowledges that Goku just permanently has Super Saiyan 4 forever now, which would be weird how he never uses it in Dragon Ball Super if he really does have Super Saiyan 4 the entire time. Now, there are a few arguments you can make for this, such as Goku barely uses Super Saiyan 3 throughout all of Dragon Ball Super, so why would he use Super Saiyan 4? Especially when Super Saiyan 4 has a higher key drain, because this isn't like the way it was in GT, where he unlocked it through like a special Great Ape transformation. This is just actually what happens after Super Saiyan 3, meaning it would have even bigger debuffs, like faster key drain, you know, less, like, you with bad stamina management. You'd get stronger, but you'd still have just a even more insane version of the Super Saiyan 3 debuffs. So you could say there's an argument as to why he didn't use it in Super. I'm going to put up an argument later as to how Daima is not connected to Super, and it's probably its own standalone thing. But let's just talk about the ending for Daima for now. Ku becomes the new king of the demon realm. You could see there's like a billion different memes of people talking about when Daima, you know, people making jokes about Daima's going to end and the last scene is going to reveal something insane. The last scene for Daima was just talking about how there was more than one third eye. Again, you have to watch the episodes, because I feel like seeing memes about it doesn't do enough justice. You have to actually watch the episode to be like, oh, it's a joke. It's not like supposed to be serious. Like Daima's end credit scene, its post-credit scene, Daima's post-credit scene isn't supposed to be like a setup for another big adventure. It's literally just supposed to be like a gag. Like, oh, the ultimate weapon that the demon family has been using to stay in power for ages was literally just bought in a store, right? It's like, yeah, they just found it in a store, they bought it, and then they started heralding it as like the best thing ever. And nobody bought a second or a third one because they probably never thought about, hey, how did this guy get this? I think it's also funny that Demon King Arbora, Deborah's dad, was a pretty weak Demon King. He basically needed to have the third eye in at all times, otherwise he could literally just get bullied by anyone. So when he walked into a store and he heard that there was a really good deal on an artifact that would increase his power, he just believed it. But luckily for him, he was right, and he never went back to the store because he immediately became Demon King, probably after that. And then no one ever asked about the third eye. You know that gag of someone is looking for something the entire time, then it happens to just be in their room? Like, the Demon Realm, or not the Demon Realm, the Demon family's prized possession is literally something that they just bought in a store, and it's so hilarious to think about, because Goma could have done the exact same thing, but he just didn't know, because nobody else knew either. The store owner even says, when the characters ask why are there two more third eyes, she even says, well, it's kind of hard to justify someone buying a separate eyeball and putting it in their forehead for a massive power boost. It sounds like a scam, because buying the third eye obviously is a lot of money, and then also it just legit sounds like a scam. Oh yeah, these, you know, enlargement pills will help you out. Like, that just sounds like a lie, you know? So no one's gonna believe it. I think that's a very effective joke. It's not a bait. It's like when Jujutsu Kaisen ended. People thought it was a sequel bait. No, it isn't. It's literally just a last image that they wanted to give you. All right, they just wanted to give you one last joke. That was it. So with Daima ending, yeah, it ends on a joke, right? Which is, again, a very Toriyama signature thing to do. It ends on a joke. It's not like a big deal. It's not like, oh my god, the world's gonna end. But a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know if people don't like it because they think it all connects to Super, or if they're worried about the fact that they didn't see, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Dragon Fist, you know, the final fight wasn't like a super hype Goku versus Jiren-esque fight, you know, etc, etc. Now, when it comes to Daima's connections to Super, it was already kind of shaky from episode 1, at least to me. Daima episode 1 literally introduces Supreme Kai and Kibito Kai not being fused, which is obviously a giant contrast to them being fused in Battle of Gods. So they've never been thinking about Dragon Ball Super the entire time they've made this. Now I know some people may have got it a little bit twisted, because when they do the explanation about all the different universes, they do show the Dragon Ball Super designs for these characters, but I think we just have to accept that those are the canon designs. The designs don't change between the timeline. That's just how the characters always look. A good example is Goku will always look like Goku. Doesn't matter if we're watching GT or Super or Daima. Adult Goku always looks a specific way, you know, the same way how all the other gods, Supreme Kais, God of Destructions, and even Zeno all look the same way no matter what timeline. So yeah, since episode 1, Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai are not fused, and they explained that they do it by obviously letting Majin Buu absorb them and then spit them out, because it did it for Vegito, so it does it for them too. So when people were speculating that, you know, they retconned the Vegito fusion, they didn't retcon the Vegito fusion. The Vegito fusion literally just works differently in Daima and in Super. In Daima, which follows Z, Vegito's fusion is permanent, and the only way it ends is if you get absorbed. In Super, it ends if an hour passes. So, again, two different timelines entirely. You can't really explain Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai letting Majin Buu absorb them to defuse, then randomly fusing back into Kibito Shinkai for Battle of Gods, and then having to ask for a wish to undo their fusion. Like, that's... Why didn't you just have Buu absorb you again? You could say, oh, well, Buu was asleep, so we didn't let him absorb us again. Well, you could just wait. Buu doesn't sleep for that long. You know, Buu sleeps he sleeps when a fight is going on, and the moment a fight is over, he's awake again. Golden Frieza, he's asleep at the start, he wakes up when it's over. Universe 6 tournament, he falls asleep during the tournament, and then he wakes up when the tournament ends. Goku Black Hawk falls asleep, wakes up at the end. You know, it only takes Buu a fight to wake up. I think they can wait that long, so it's safe to say it's not a part of the same canon. I think the obvious, more damning thing is that Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Beerus is not a thing that happens. I know people like to point to the manga panels of Goku saying, you know, Super Saiyan 3 is my final form, there's no other forms past it, and Super Saiyan God is the 4th Super Saiyan form. But that's the Dragon Ball Super manga. That thing is not canon. It's never been canon. Please ignore it. When we're having serious canon talks, do not bring up the manga, okay? Please. It would be weird if Goku just straight up did not use Super Saiyan 4 against Beerus. Again, some arguments can be made for this, however. Like, maybe Beerus just one-shot Goku way too quick before he had time to go Super Saiyan 4. That's a very easy argument to make in both the anime and the movie version of the Battle of Gods fight, because Goku goes for a hit against Beerus, which isn't effective, and while he's looking for Beerus in the smoke cloud, Beerus just, you know, one-taps him or hits him with like a short combo that knocks him all the way back down to base form. There is not enough time to go Super Saiyan 4 during all of that, and Beerus was probably not going to wait for this guy to finish transforming into a 4th form. I mean, if Goku had Super Saiyan 4 during Daima, and he went Super Saiyan 4, and Beerus saw the red hair, he'd think, oh, that's probably Super Saiyan God. And then he would fight it, he would beat it, and go, okay, well, that wasn't Super Saiyan God. Or maybe Super Saiyan 4 in this continuity is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue is at the end of Dragon Ball Super. Who knows, right? Super Saiyan 4 in Daima is super OP. It did shoot through 3 separate demon worlds in one blast, so that's kind of absurd. So yeah, it's safe to say that Daima is in fact its own separate continuity. It has nothing to do with Dragon Ball Super, and again, if you see Daima this way, that makes it far more enjoyable. I know people want everything to be connected with Dragon Ball, because no more split timelines, no more non-canon this and that. People just want everything to be canon, but Daima Super Saiyan 4 is still canon, it's just in a different timeline to Super. If you want it to exist in the same timeline as Super, that would get confusing, because again, it would have to happen before Battle of Gods, meaning Super Saiyan 4, as cool as it is, would probably barely ever get used again. Now, here's the thing about Dragon Ball media. I am very sure 100% that in an upcoming movie, or maybe even a later anime, or a video game, Vegeta's gonna say something really dumb to Goku, like, Kakarot, what about that Super Saiyan 4 form? And Goku's gonna have a flashback like Orange Piccolo and go, oh yeah, right, I forgot about that, and then just turn into it casually. And it's like, okay, well, how did... At least in Piccolo's case, sure, he forgot about it because the one time he did it, he immediately got his ass beat. But how does Goku forget about Super Saiyan 4? Now, when it comes to Daima following Super, or if it was anything about Daima that you guys wish followed up on, again, fusion bugs, right? We can always wait for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, as well as the what-if possibilities from Sparking Zero. I think those games, as well as Xenoverse what-if possibilities, again, Xenoverse 2 doesn't do a lot with its what-if possibilities, but it does have them. I think those games can still always follow up on things that Daima didn't do. A good example is that Kakarot has a different take on how Cell's regeneration works. Kakarot also has Goku be the one to revive Frieza way before the resurrection of F-Arc even happens, which allows Frieza to have actually a long amount of time to train to power up to Golden Form rather than just 4 months. Again, Kakarot does have different writers, different interpretations on things, and I think that's really cool because it allows, you know, more breathing room for Dragon Ball. It gives you a different take on the Dragon Ball setting in the world. And with that in mind, we could see stuff like, you know, the explanation for why Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai have unfused, why Goku doesn't use Super Saiyan 4 ever again after Daima, Or even, where did the fusion bugs go? I know Goku dropped a pouch for it. They show him explicitly dropping the pouch. But I thought they showed him dropping the pouch because he was going to pick it up later, not because they just wanted to go, let's not use this plot point. Let's just have Goku lose the pouch. If they had the pouch get destroyed in the middle of the fight, I think way less people would be mad. People just accept that that's the way it is. After seeing this tweet too, I realized that a lot of people wanted the Dragon Ball Super Moro arc. And other than me not liking the Moro arc, because I just don't think it's that good. The Dragon Ball Super Moro arc being a follow-up from Daima would be like really funny. Like imagine having all this Daima demon realm stuff and then just going to like some goat demon at the end of like the Tournament of Power. Like, is Moro after DBS Broly? Or I don't even remember where Moro actually is in the timeline, if he's after DBS Broly or before DBS Broly. I think he's after DBS Broly, but it'd be really weird having the Moro arc happen and then Goku just doesn't use Super Saiyan 4 once that entire arc, even though he just got it in Dragon Ball Daima. Like, I don't know. The Moro arc isn't something that I feel like works as like as a story in general, let alone as a follow-up to Dragon Ball Daima. Toriyama ended the series by trolling the audience 3 times in a single episode. I kneel. I do like all the gags. You guys could say that maybe. If you want to say, oh, Steve, you're just a Daima rider, that's fair, whatever. I hate Dragon Ball Super and I love Daima. I think it just shows that, you know, different strokes for different folks. Everyone enjoys different things altogether in general. And for me, I enjoy Daima differently than I enjoy stuff like, you know, DBS and stuff like that. I think DBS is okay. But DBS's main selling point is the super hype fights, the insane power scaling, the, you know, absurd actions that some characters take, like 17 pretending to die just to be like, no, I'm actually alright. You know, stuff like that. I think DBS is mostly, you know, Goku Black, the iconography of the villains. Whereas I enjoy Daima more as a story for the characters, the worlds, and I think I even enjoy the Daima fights more than the Super fights. There's very few fights in Super I would consider good. And it's especially the characters, man, because like, Vegeta in Super compared to Daima is like night and day, bro. That's actually tragic how different that is. And yeah, that's probably where I'm going to end the video. I just wanted to talk about people in general being upset with the Daima ending. And again, I can understand, you know, potential that wasn't really utilized, like the fusion bugs, etc. But again, none of this connects to Super, which is why I think most people's actual issue is. People obviously wanted to see Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and SSJ4 Dragon Fist, and that didn't happen. But more of the complaints I see online is, how does this connect to the canon? This, how does this connect to this and that? I don't think it does at all, unless it's proven otherwise. Again, with Dragon Ball Media, they can never decide if they want it to be canon or not. They always advertise and market new movies like Dragon Ball Z Broly, Frieza's brother Cooler, you know, Turles, all these movies. Every time they market those movies, Fusion Reborn, oh, it's canon, it exists in the timeline, yeah. And then a few years later, they'll go, okay, yeah, that's not canon, don't worry about it. Like, you know, you have to wait and see if the next thing that comes after Daima addresses Daima or not. And that's if the next product is called Dragon Ball Super. Because keep in mind, Dragon Ball Daima is not called Dragon Ball Z Daima or Dragon Ball Super Daima. It's just called Dragon Ball Daima. And Dragon Ball Super always has, you know, super in the name. Dragon Ball Super Broly, Dragon Ball Super Superhero, etc. Right? I don't feel like I need to explain this, but the main gripe people had is that it wasn't connected to the canon of Super, and I don't think it ever was, and it was never trying to be. So no Beerus tease, no Whis tease. The closest we get is just, you know, there's other universes and there's also Zeno, and that's it, right? So yeah, I think this is probably a great place to end the video, guys. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care, and peace.